America is known for a lot of things. Freedom, of course. Innovation? You bet. Completely ridiculous laws that should have been erased decades ago but somehow still exist in 2025? Ooh, yeah! Did you know there are towns where you can get fined for wearing a fake mustache to the wrong event? Or places where carrying around a plank of wood is illegal? Today, we're counting down 10 of the strangest laws in the US. The kind of laws that make you question whether the people who wrote them were actually serious or just really, really bored. These rules are so old, they were probably written by guys in powdered wigs who thought bathing once a month was cutting-edge hygiene. And yet, they're still technically enforceable. So grab your gavel because we're about to enjoy an adventure through into the legal twilight zone. No whistling for a lost canary, California's peculiar rule. All right, California, what are we doing here? You can hike year-round, drink $8 lattes, and get fined for whistling before 7 a.m. if you're looking for a lost canary. Yes, this is a real law. A law. Apparently, back in the day, noise complaints were a big deal. So much so that if your bird went missing at the crack of dawn, tough luck, you had to wait until sunrise before calling it home with a whistle, because clearly the biggest threat to public order is someone whistling before sunrise. And the best part? This law is still technically on the books in some places. Is anyone enforcing it? Probably not. But if you're an early riser who also happens to own a canary, maybe hold off on the morning serenade. Just text it to come home like the rest of us. At least until 7:01 a.m. No fake mustaches in church. Alabama's odd rule, where someone at some point decided fake mustaches were a serious threat to church services. So, in certain parts of Alabama, it's illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter, which raises some big questions. Who was wearing the mustaches? Why were they so funny? And most importantly, why did this happen so often that they needed a law? The general idea was to keep services respectful, but let's be honest, this law feels more like someone lost a bet than an actual legal decision, and yet here we are in 2025, still talking about it. Moral of the story? If you're in Alabama and planning to test the limits of church-approved facial hair, maybe go with a beard, and definitely keep a straight face, or risk breaking one of the weirdest laws in the country. No carrying ice cream in your back pocket. Georgia's sticky situation. Okay, Georgia, what the hell? Why is it illegal to carry ice cream in your back pocket? Turns out, this wasn't about protecting sticky jeans. It was to stop horse thieves. Yes, horse thieves. Back in the day, people would stick ice cream in their back pockets to lure horses away without technically stealing them. Because legally, if the horse just follows you home, that's not theft. It's just a very dumb loophole. So Georgia made it illegal. Fast forward to today, even though no one is out here committing dairy-based crimes anymore, this law is still technically in the books. I'm guessing local police have bigger things to worry about, but if you want to play it safe, when you're in Georgia, just keep your ice cream in a cone like a normal person. No shooting a buffalo from a hotel window, Texas's wild law. Next, we're heading to Texas for one of the most outrageous laws around. Apparently, it's illegal to shoot a buffalo from a second-story hotel window. Now, I have so many questions. First off, who was doing this so often that we needed a law? And second, how bad was the buffalo problem that someone thought, you know what? The real issue here is people shooting at them from hotels. This law sounds like something out of a cartoon, and yet it's still on the books. Originally meant to prevent dangerous behavior in high-rise buildings, it highlights the kind of over-the-top regulations that Texas is known for. Imagine trying to hunt from your hotel room window, if that ever crossed your mind. Bottom line, if you're in Texas and looking out of a hotel window, the only thing you should be aiming for is a good view. No dancing on the sidewalk in public. Wisconsin's odd ord. All right, Wisconsin, what do you have against having a good time? Because in some parts of the state, it's illegal to dance on the sidewalk in public. Now, to be fair, this law was originally meant to keep street festivals and parades from getting out of control. But let's be honest, the idea of getting arrested for dancing outside a coffee shop is hilarious. Imagine you're at a fair, feeling the music, busting out a few moves. Boom, now you're an outlaw. I mean, it's probably not enforced anymore, but the fact that this is still a law? Wild. Moral of the story, If you're gonna dance in Wisconsin, just make sure it's in a legally approved zone, because apparently even fun needs a permit. No catching fish with your bare hands. Indiana's fishing law. Okay, Indiana, let's talk about fishing, because it's illegal to catch a fish with your bare hands. Yeah, I don't know who needed to hear this, but if you're planning to wrestle a fish out of the water like some kind of survivalist TV star, don't. This law was originally about protecting fish populations, which fine, makes sense. But at the same time, if you can actually catch a fish with your bare hands, I think you deserve a medal, not a fine. So, if you're heading out for a fishing trip in Indiana, just bring a rod, or risk being the first person in history to get arrested for being too good at fishing. No carrying a plank of wood alongside a road, Nebraska's peculiar rule. In Nebraska, it's illegal to carry a plank of wood along a public road. What they hay. Now technically, this law was created back in the day to prevent people from creating potential hazards or blocking traffic on busy roads, which, fine, safety first. But the idea that walking down the street with a 2x4 could make you a criminal feels a little excessive. No swearing in public. Yep, it's still a thing. Okay, if you've ever stubbed your toe in public, you might be breaking the law, because in some parts of the US, swearing in public is still technically illegal. Yes, in 2025. These laws were meant to keep public spaces respectful, but let's be honest, has anyone ever actually stopped swearing because of a city ordinance? Probably not. No pumping your own gas. Oregon's self-service ban. All right, Oregon, what's going on? Why is it illegal to pump your own gas? If you've never been, let me explain. You literally have to sit in your car and wait for someone else to do it for you. It's like a throwback to the 1950s, but with more confusion. Originally, this law was all about safety and job creation, but now it just makes Oregon stand out as one of the only places where grabbing the gas pump yourself is a crime. So if you're road tripping through Oregon, just sit back, relax, and let someone else do the work. Or if you're like me, spend the entire time wondering why this is still a thing. No parking in front of a school on Fridays, New York's strict rule. Finally, we wrap things up in New York, where parking in front of a school on a Friday can get you in trouble. Now sure, school zones need rules, but why specifically Fridays? Was there some major parking crisis that only happened at the end of the week? Imagine you're on a road trip, just trying to grab a coffee and boom, parking ticket. All because you picked the one day the law decided to be weird. Which one of these 10 bizarre US laws surprised you the most? Have you ever actually run into one of these weird rules? Feel free to share your most memorable run-ins with the law in the US in the comments below. Who knows? We might just wind up making a future video about it. Thanks for tagging along, keep exploring, stay curious, and most importantly, watch where you park on Fridays.